going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Major Keyz podcast with your host, Zach Wilson. We have a very special guest today. You know how we do. We talk to keyboard players about music and life and everything in between. This is a part of the series where I'm featuring all of the instructors that made me, me. This is Mr. Stephen Thornton. Wrap it up.
Thank you for having me. I'm a fan of the podcast.
I appreciate it. So first of all, first question we ask everybody, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm hanging in there. I'm trying to keep it in the road, as I would tell you.
Gotta keep it in the road. Sometimes we're right here. Sometimes you veer off, but hey, just keep
it in the road.
Keep it where it needs to be.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna start from the top.
Sure.
How did you get started playing keys, and we'll go on from there.
Okay, I feel like you know this already.
This for the people. This for the people, Steven. I know you.
Yes,
I know you, but you know.
Okay, sure. So it all started back when I was about 4 or 5. My mother decided to enroll my brother and I got an older brother by 4 years, and in piano lessons. Even though we had showed zero interest in piano or music at all. So, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I wanted to be a professional baseball player more than anything in the world. So music wasn't on my radar. But anyway, enrolled us in that, I think, during the summer break. And I was a terrible student. I wouldn't practice. Showed no signs of promise, unlike you.
I'm filming these episodes out of order, but Mr. Mitchell almost cut me from lessons, so I didn't. There was not a lot of promise at the beginning, but continue.
But anyway, I didn't give it the time of day. It wasn't until about 3rd grade, though, we had in my elementary school we had a music teacher. Who would come in and teach us a song, and I kind of liked it, and I kind of took to it, I guess fairly easily. And the only thing was you had to be in the 3rd grade in order to join the chorus at my school, and so I couldn't wait till I got into the 3rd grade to join. And so that singing is how I got started in music, and I did that throughout elementary school. Got to travel a little bit. Got into middle school. Middle school was a very different experience than elementary school, mainly because the instructor just didn't know how to handle us inner city kids.
Oh, okay.
we were from the hood. We were from Bloomfield. So it was different. We didn't do as many performances, didn't do as many as engagements, and so after, I guess, towards the end of middle school, I was starting to lose enthusiasm for it. And the high school instructor came down to the middle school. They call it a smooth move, basically, where the high school students showcase what they're going to do or what high school is kind of about, kind of the arts and some of the athletic programs that they have. And that year we had a new instructor, or the high school that we were going to, because it was right next door. He came down and introduced himself, old guy, and I kind of sized him up. Really didn't give him, I can't remember a thing that he said. He gave a whole spiel, whole intro and pitch probably, but I was like, if it's anything like what I'm experiencing now in middle school, because all we did was watch Jerry Springer in 106 in Park.
At school?
In chorus class.
Oh, wow.
Like
Jerry Springer in 106. Goodness gracious.
So anyway, so I was like, if it's going to be like this, and definitely if I'm going to have the same, group of classmates going with me, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this, continue this anymore. So I got into high school, and I didn't sign up for any music classes at all. But then the people that I took chorus with in middle school would come to me, and we had classes together, and would say, "Steve, man, Mr. Mills is looking for you." That was the old guy's name.
Yeah.
The instructor in high school. And I was like, why in the world is he looking for me?
Mm-hmm.
He had gotten our names at the end of his spiel. And anyway, like next class, same thing. Man, Mr. Mills is looking for you, Steve. He wants to see you. I was like, all right. So I asked my science teacher, Miss Railway, shout out.
Mm-hmm.
She gave me a hall pass to go up there to see Mr. Mills. And I get up there to the chorus room. Chorus room is a group of double doors that lead to it. And these things, if you have experience with it, they slam right behind you.
Uh-huh.
I had never been to the chorus room before.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know the action
Of the door.
of the door.
Mm-hmm.
So when I open the door, it slams behind me, and I'm frozen looking down, and I look up, and this room is full of upperclassmen, and Mr. Mills is sitting right there. All eyes are on me at this point, and everything's dead silence. And so anyway, I introduce myself to Mr. Mills, or he says, "Can I help you?" Yeah, I'm Stephen Thornton. You were looking for me? Yes, Mr. Thornton. When are you going to come join us? Like right there.
Oh, wow.
On the spot, right in front of everybody. And so
Your reputation preceded you.
I don't know about that. But I said, well, I didn't sign up for any classes this semester, but next semester I'll sign up. I was like, okay, great. And so, yeah, I signed up next semester, my freshman year. And, man, it was a life-changing experience. That was definitely one of the more important decisions that I ever made because he exposed me to so much. It was the first time I'd ever gotten sheet music in a chorus program. And Mr. Mills was a stickler for sight reading and being able to sight sing.
Oh, okay.
He didn't want singers that were just being taught by rote and just monkey see, monkey do type stuff. Hey, match this note and that sort of thing. No, he wanted you to be able to read music because he was a musician himself. And got exposed to a lot. Jazz. That was my first time ever doing anything jazz related. Was singing and doing some standards. And anyway, yeah, I got to travel, got to go to Europe. My junior year, about 7 different countries, singing. And right around freshman year, I was like, you know what? I remember this middle C stuff.
Yeah.
From when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I said, you know what? To make myself a better singer and a better reader, we still had the keyboard at home, still had the books that we used from, when I was 4 and 5. So I got the books out and started practicing, and teaching myself how to play and how to become a better reader. And it also got me out of some house chores. That was the other benefit.
Oh yeah.
My mom would be in the kitchen. She'd be cooking something, and she would always, if my brother was on the keyboard practicing, she would always call me instead of him.
Oh.
And he was sitting right there next to the kitchen. It would always irk my soul. Like, why is she calling me and he's right there? So I got smart, Zach. I said, next time I'm going to be on the keyboard, and Garrett's going to have to do all these chores.
So you practiced to get out of. All right.
Yes.
Hey, if it worked.
Yeah.
If it worked.
Yeah. It turns out she just enjoyed listening to us practice, and she didn't want anything to interrupt us. But yeah, so I thought it was a nice cheat code. And so yeah, that's what got me started. I did that throughout high school. Went through a book every summer. Go through a book of lessons. Shout out to John Thompson series, and got into college, and I joined the chorus there reluctantly, and the chorus instructor there noticed, that I read pretty well, and then I started tinkering around in some practices, and that led to ultimately me accompanying the concert choir for my university. And in college, met my wife. That was by far the best decision I ever made, because her whole family is musical.
Yes.
Yeah, her mom had her own singing group in Atlanta. Her dad toured with the Tams and Drifters in Texas.
For context, it's weird because I am filming these out of order. Okay. So I got it. But if you listen to the last episode with Mark Mitchell, his daughter, Gia Nicole Mitchell, married Stephen Thornton.
Right.
And so this is how we kind of met in a way.
Exactly.
I mean, we'll get there in your story, but there's a relation.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, and so another burst of exposure through them. Got the opportunity to teach at their school, Mitchell's Academy, and yeah, that's where I met you. And
your life has gone uphill. Life's gone uphill ever since.
Yeah, I had the wonderful pleasure of working with you. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I still am very proud of those years and those moments.
What a
so
time. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go back. So you're telling me you kind of you never really had a personal instructor. You kind of played, or you kind of got taught through the teachers at your schools, but you never went somewhere after school or went somewhere during school and had one-on-one instruction.
Right. No, I didn't. Outside of, like I said, when I was about 4 or 5, over a summer, with a private piano instructor. No. No, I did it all at home.
Wow. And so being in school, being in chorus, that's what made you think oh, you know what, this is cool. So when you're learning, it was high school when it kind of switched for you, oh, I want to actually get better at this.
Exactly.
So was it hard for you when you were because you were kind of learning on your own?
Yeah.
So was it hard for you? I don't know about the Thompson series. So what was that like what, I know it was classical, but what was the gist of the stuff that they were teaching you, or in the books?
Yeah. So it's pretty all encompassing. It touches on theory. It touches on obviously reading, and different genres of music. It doesn't really go into jazz or anything I guess extremely contemporary or very contemporary. It's a pretty old series. I can't remember how old it is, but anyway, yeah, it's classical stuff, Renaissance, and there are a few contemporary pieces if the further advanced you get.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly going to be your Bach, your Mozart, your Beethoven, your Liszt, Chopin, Handel, those greats.
So you really had the self-determination to do it on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a challenge that I enjoyed. And like I said, I thought it was making me a better musician overall. And so, yeah, I took a liking to that. Yeah, I'd be up at night while everybody was asleep practicing, and it was.
Gotcha. Because me, I kind of had that, but I needed guidance to okay, yeah, that would be cool, but it was I needed someone to push me and to figure it out. I was okay, it was not a sense of content really, but it was just I'm just like, okay, well, this is where I'm at now. And then like when I go to lessons, I'll learn the next thing, and like I'm gonna practice in between time. But it was never like a pressing thing of I need to learn the next thing and like get better. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, in college I did take some music courses, some theory, and I had actually had an organist give me some lessons or give me a course in college for like 2 semesters. I did 2 recitals.
What was on the recitals?
So, and that's the thing. So being self-taught, I didn't perform, in front of anyone. It was all at home in my living room.
Okay.
And so literally it wasn't until I got to college and was accompanying the concert choir and took a course with this professor that I had my first recital ever. And I was ambitious, probably to a detriment. I took on my very first recital. I took on the 3rd movement of Moonlight Sonata. Yeah. But
like, how good were you at the time? Like looking back on it now, was that like, you know what, I probably should have not done that, or was it like, oh, it was a challenge and it was actually decent and it kind of worked out?
It was a bit of both. I did. So being my first recital, I was nervous, but I practiced and tried to show myself approved. Anyway, I had the music in front of me, that recital, and I'll never forget. I got about midway through the piece, and I lost my spot.
Oh, like reading the sheet music.
Like reading.
Oh, you didn't have the page turner.
No, didn't have a page turner or anything.
Oof. Oh gosh.
And so
there's no stems to help you.
Nope.
No.
No,
there's no.
It's just
there's
you.
no baseball. Oh my goodness.
It's just you, and so literally, I'm playing in front of this crowd of other classmates, other people, and my professor comes out of the audience because I'm a deer in headlights. I'm panicking, like where should I go? Where did I leave off? Whew. And for like a good minute, like a good solid 60 seconds, I'm lost. And she comes out of the audience, looks in my sheet music, points exactly where I was.
Wow. Yeah.
And so and I start right back, and still got a standing ovation.
I'm like, well, it might have.
Maybe it was
in your defense, I was like, it might have been a sympathy. That's all right. That's all right. Well, come on now. Come on. Find it.
I think it was just because it was probably one of the more challenging pieces done at this recital. They had other instrumentalists doing pieces, but I don't think anybody did anything as ambitious or challenging as that one that I did.
So you already pushed yourself possibly further or farther than you should have.
Right.
Yeah. You get there, you lose it. Where were you in the lineup?
Let's see. I was probably like midway. It was probably like maybe 15 instrumentalists, and yeah, I was probably like number 7 or 6 on program. And yeah.
But the thing is, they probably talked about you on the way home. Hey, that like, man, he almost lost it, but man, but once he got it, because it's a ebbs and flows sort of.
Oh yeah.
Contrasting situation, like the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it was one of those moments, I guess, as a musician where you never forget it because it humbles you, and it reminds you of just how, I guess, frail, or even how your own humanity.
Yeah.
Can come to play, and you can't get the big head about this stuff. You can still lose your place.
Oh,
and completely forget where you were. That could be a sermon, but anyway.
Hey. You can lose your place, but someone will help you find it.
Hey, out of the wilderness, somebody will. There will be a ram in the bush.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, thankful for Dr. Lee. That was my Dr. Instructor, Dr. Quim Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she got her doctorate in composition, but she's a tremendous organist as well, pipe organ.
Okay.
So yeah, I got some pipe organ lessons. Still got my shoes too. Pipe organ.
Oh yeah,
shoes.
the organ master, the shoes, the pointing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of missed playing the organ, honestly.
Hey, well, I'm sure there's a B3 waiting for you somewhere. But okay, so that was so let's fast forward to, I guess, how you got in contact with the Mr. Mitchell and started teaching lessons. Mm-hmm. And tell me what that experience was like for you.
So before that, when I met Gia, my wife, his daughter, it was during a summer camp where I started out as an assistant teacher, basically just a helper for Dr. Lee. And then when she took another position elsewhere, then I became the de facto instructor. And so that was my baptism in teaching right there. And that was to a group of children.
How big was this group, and how young or old were these children?
So this was about 20 kids, middle school and high school age.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And so this helps. Did the kids want to learn piano, or were they at a camp that their parents sent them to and piano lessons were a part of it, and it was like, maybe I like it, maybe I don't? So
yeah, probably a good 75% will probably, hey, my teacher or my mom or somebody coerced me into signing up for this. And the other 25% actually showed an interest.
Oh man. So not only is this your first teaching, but it's with kids that may or may not want to learn. Yeah. And this is your first time teaching.
Yeah.
By yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're in the room and you got, how long did you have to fill? Like maybe 30 minutes, an hour?
Oh no. This was the second half of the day. So this was like after lunch, until about 3:00.
Oh, no. So you had 2 hours of material? You had to have 2 hours of, oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah. And so.
Were you up there bombing? Were you bombing or were you keeping it together?
Sometimes. I'll admit I know there was one time where I was just like, you know what?
Y'all figure it out.
Y'all do whatever. If y'all want to laugh and goof off, it makes me know. Never mind.
You got to be like what, 20?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm still in school. I'm still in college. My junior year probably, and yeah, I'm just like, you know what? I didn't sign up for all of this. I remember printing out some, I tried to find, popular stuff that was out that they could learn, to try to read and pick up. And I even had a challenge one time, and this was kind of a lesson to me, probably a thing not to do as a teacher, is I thought if I gave the incentive, like, hey, whoever learns it first, I'll give like $1 or something.
Oh no! Oh.
And so
wait, what do you? There's a word for it. You're
I was naive.
No. I mean like that too. You trying to appease the crowd. Right. There's a word for it though. But it was I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I was reaching. I'm trying to gain as much enthusiasm and zeal for learning piano. And, to these high school and inner city kids and middle schoolers. And, all that did was just incentivize them to, whoever got the $1 first, then, oh, okay, well, ain't no point in me even listening anymore or even trying anymore. So, yeah, that plan backfired. Lesson learned.
Oh, yeah.
From that. But, yeah, it was definitely a struggle at times. Gia and the rest of the other assistants, they were helpful and got me through a lot of those tough times, where it was getting to me, and I was just like, this is a bit much. And so right. Anyway, as far as to answering your question, when I got to Mitchell's, that was kind of a breath of fresh air, working one-on-one with students for the most part. The biggest challenge for me was trying to get, what's the word, for lack of a better one, buy-in from some students, because they were used to
Mr. Mitchell.
Right. They were used.
And you're like, hey, who's homie? Trying to like, all right,
and,
all right.
And plenty of these 7-year-old and 8-year-old and 10-year-old kids would tell me, well, that's not how Mr. Mark does it. And I would say to them, do I look like Mr. Mark to you?
Oh, well, hey.
Do.
Yeah.
And so I would let them know early on that this is a brand new day. This is a brand new era. I'm not trying to be Mr. Mitchell. I can only teach the way that I teach. But if you work with me, I promise you, we'll get through this, and hopefully you'll learn something out of it. One of the best memories that I have from it was I had a student, his name was Jordan, who was accustomed to Mr. Mitchell. I was subbing at that time for him. And so I guess Jordan had a hard time, or wasn't progressing, I guess, as much as his mother would like. And so in working with him on a piece, he would get to a point and then stop and then go back. And he would just basically continue doing the same thing over and over again. And I told him, Jordan, if we have to progress past this point. And I know it might be new, I know it might be uncharted territory, but I know you can do it. And so anyway, he didn't have that confidence to go forward. And so I ultimately kind of had to put the fear of God in him type deal. And I said, Jordan, if you don't go to these next measures, I'm going to get very upset, and you don't want to see me very upset.
Well,
and the tears start strolling down his face, and so now I feel terrible.
Oh man, I was like, I didn't want to make him. I
feel like, I went too far with him, but ultimately we got through those next couple of measures, and we start to progress and everything. And so now I'm dreading the talk with the parent afterwards.
Oh yeah.
At this point, because any parent can see when their child has cried. And so anyway, Jordan goes out to his mom. I don't even follow him out.
Oh gosh.
She comes back in.
Hey,
and she thanks me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She says, I've never, he's never gone that far before, and and all of this, and praising and everything for the progress that he had made and everything, and it really made me feel, I guess have some, I'm doing something right, or at least making some type of impact on these children's lives. And so that meant a lot.
Wow. Got you.
Sometimes you got to be, you got to give a little tough love.
Yeah.
Every now and again, but kind of like parenting. If you show them that you care, if you show your students that hey, I'm with you, I am for you, I'm going to support you, but at the same time, I'm not going to allow you to become complacent. I'm not going to allow you to stagnate. Then ultimately, I think they will appreciate you, and ultimately, they'll grow from that.
So how did you handle it if you got a student who was like, you know what, I don't necessarily want to do this, and they were like, kind of like when it became the one-on-one students, I was like, I don't really want to do this. I ain't really like, they didn't care, or like they didn't practice, or even their parents didn't even push them to do what they were supposed to do. So how do you go about handling that?
So yeah, there were a couple of students that I had that basically I babysat. And that was fine. that was fine with me because, going into it, I know not every student is going to become a pianist. Shoot, if 1% of my students became pianists at a semi-professional level, that would be a victory.
Well, here you go.
but
Yeah.
I realize even that goal can sometimes be far-fetched. And so I realize, like any coach, I have to go into this thinking, how can I make an impact on this child's life beyond just the music, beyond just piano? And so, I had a number of students that I would just sit and chat with and get to know them and talk about whatever issues outside of, piano and music. And we would try and tackle those things. I never forget one time at Mitchell's Academy, one of Gia's dance students came down into my room. I was waiting on another student to show up. And this dance student comes in there and she's sad. And, a little bitty thing. She couldn't have been no more than like 4. And she's sad. And so I turn to her and say, well, do you know this song? And I'll start playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. And instantly her face brightens up and gets a smile on her face. And, it's those types of things that you never know. I don't know what she was going through. She might have had some issues at home. She might have had a terrible practice in dance or whatever. But just me sitting down with her, I invited her to sit by me on the bench. And I started playing just Mary Had a Little Lamb. And it made her day, or at least it got her over whatever it was she was going through. And so that just speaks to the power of music and how it can really change and speak to people.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, I want to kind of circle back out of the teacher's perspective to a player's perspective. So when did you, because you do play at church?
Yes.
So when did that start? And then you're also a music director. Like, there have been plenty of performances that we've had that you have led the charge of leading the band. And so how did that start? And like, how was it maybe, I guess, your first time doing it, and maybe like what you've learned throughout kind of that process? Gotcha. But I just wanted to know, but I also just want to know when you started playing in church, because I don't know that timeline.
Gotcha. So that started around about 2008, around when I was in college, or out of college at that point. G and I were dating, and I was attending the church where she was ministering, and they had 2 keyboardists, or they had her dad on organ, and they had another keyboardist as well playing auxiliaries. And so I was nervous about jumping into the church pool, just because at that time, Zach, I was strictly a reader.
Right.
At that time, I had never tried to really play by ear. I could sing, and I'd done tone memorization and match this pitch, and so I had an ear to know what notes were, and I obviously had been taking piano and that sort of thing, so I knew, okay, this is what a middle C sounds like under the tutelage of Mr. Mills.
Right.
But yeah, I was nervous about getting my feet wet and playing by ear in church, and so yeah, it was about a good 2 years before I did. And like I said, in about 2008, that's when I took the leap and asked the pastor, hey, you mind if I come along and play with you guys? And so, yeah, they allowed me to. And so now we got 3 keyboardists in church, including me. And I never forget the first song we did. I had heard it before. They had sung it before, but I did not know it. And so I had to figure out. I didn't even know what key it was in. And so I remember pretty much most of the song, or no, all of the song, I spent trying to find out.
Oh, goodness.
Where the key was.
Do you remember what song this was?
Let's see. They would call it Sing Unto the Lord. I don't know if that's the actual name of it. Sing unto the Lord, bless his holy name. Sing unto the Lord, bless his holy name. So anyway, I did not, like I said, throughout that whole song, I'm doing doom 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 doom.
Oh, goodness.
I'm half
You're trying to figure it out.
Trying to find out where's one in this song. And because I'm the new guy, they have my volume down anyway on my board. So it's not, causing a cacophony in the song.
Absolutely. Can't have those. Can't have those.
So anyway, yeah, that was another humbling experience for me. And that's how my playing by ear journey began. I started asking Mr. Mitchell questions and getting some advice and counsel and guidance from him as far as building my repertoire for church music. And he showed me some common songs that they did. And then after that, I started to kind of get my groove and get the hang of it. But I say probably about a good year after that, I was starting to lead an MD at church. And it started with the youth choir. I started basically learning their material solely and then teaching it to the other musicians that were there. And that's how that process started. As far as church goes. Now, as far as MDing for the gigs that you and I have taken part in, that came about because there was a bass player that we know who shall go unnamed, but this guy had played with some big names before, and he was playing with us.
Well, this was before he came around, though, too.
That
you were MDing stuff.
Not for Mitchell's stuff.
The recital in 2008. Were you not? I mean, like you were MDing that.
I don't. Well, perhaps
you're MDing that stuff.
Okay.
Rhythm is gonna get you. You were MDing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's strange though.
You were MDing that stuff way before that.
I say that because that wasn't something that I volunteered for, and I think the Mitchells, because it was their thing. I think there may have been a little hesitancy in letting me take the charge. I was still young. I was still in my 20s and everything, and so there wasn't an opportunity or a position or title that I sought after. But I do remember when the bass player came along and he said, "Hey, Steven knows this stuff. I think he ought to do it." I remember him specifically saying that,
and then
in a rehearsal, and I was, and so now all eyes are on me, and now, lo and behold, now I'm having to lead this 12-piece band. It was the one at the Douglas that time where we had a horn section and had like 2 drummers.
Oh, it's a whole shebang.
Yeah, 3 keyboard players, like 2 guitarists, percussionists, 5 background singers, a lead vocal, and probably a partridge in a pear tree somewhere. and that experience was at least I consider my first beyond what you and I
got you.
Beyond what you and I did, because that was one, it was on stage. It wasn't like in a pit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like the stuff that you and I did for recitals and everything. This was an actual showcase, or an actual show of a cover of, or covers of different songs. And I remember it because I at the end of it I was hoarse.
Because you were just yelling.
I was yelling out everything.
Yeah.
Go to the 4.
Yeah.
Go to the 1.
Oh, yeah.
To the bounce. every section, I'm screaming over, 15 umpteen people performing to try and guide us through. And so, yeah, that was an ordeal. But yeah, that's how it came along. People ultimately saw the potential in me, I think, and gave me an opportunity. And I just I said, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Got you.
If see where it goes. If I fail, okay, it was a learning experience. If I soar and fly high, then hey, great.
Got you. So musically, what would you say that you do now currently musically, and then what do you aim to do musically? Because I know you don't do music full time. So
yes. Ultimately, I like to teach. That if I would love to do that full time, and I'm starting to get some students even now. It's very small, but that would be end game for me. Is to teach more and to pour and impart to people what I've been blessed to know and learn. And so that's where I want to go.
Okay, got you.
Ultimately, let's see here. What was your other?
I was saying, like, what do you currently do musically now, and then what did you want to do? So.
Okay. As far as musically now, the mainstay is playing for my church, and do that every week. Been doing that for, I guess since 2008. So about over 15 years now.
But you still gig here and there, though.
Occasionally, yes. I don't gig that much, to be honest. Mostly it'll be stuff that my wife, who is a singer, she'll get an opportunity and she'll ask me to accompany her on. The last one I had was, let's see here, I think maybe, well, it may not be the last one, but the most notable one that I remember was back in November. I think I told you about it because I had to put together my own band for the first time. I've never put together my own band before. Most of the guys that I've played with, they were already contracted out. Yeah. And so, last November I had to put together my own group, and that was fun. It was just a trio, and we were just doing dinner music, light, smooth jazz stuff. And so those gigs come along every now and again. Maybe a handful a quarter. But yeah, that, and yeah, I love those types of opportunities, or any opportunity where I can glean and learn and grow. Done a few studio sessions with another band, and we've recorded some material, and that's been a great opportunity for me, because again, never had that type of opportunity. And so I do that occasionally. Haven't done it so much. This year, it was more so last year and the year before that I did some recordings at Capricorn. Yeah. And so anyway, yeah, that's mostly is here and there that I have some gigs that pop up.
Got you. And so cool. No, I dig it. So I know you've told some horror stories, but can you think of one of the worst gigs that you've had, or one of the worst instances that you were playing? Like, what's the worst on, preferably on your end? Because I know you and I can think of one particular situation,
and that's where my mind went.
But I'm gonna angle it back to your end, like when it was on you. Okay. Like not that it happened while you happened to be on the gig.
Let's see here. Does it has to be like a secular or
No, it doesn't have to. If you were on the Keyz Something bad that has happened.
And I crashed and burned. Oh, that's happened quite a bit.
And you know what? It's just gonna and unfortunately, it's just gonna happen again. It's just how it goes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just how it goes. Like sometimes you can't keep it in the road.
No.
Sometimes it's just you just might have to crash.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. There was the last event that you and I did at the Douglas, and I completely butchered that intro to what was a Natalie Cole song?
Oh, Paper Moon?
Yes, Paper Moon.
It wasn't that bad.
I apologize to the singer on that song.
Oh,
That's how bad I felt about it. Cause yeah, it was all on me. I guess
I ain't like that. You got it.
It wasn't a complete derailment. We got
it wasn't. Yeah.
Let's see here. There's been a time at church where I just flat out didn't know the song. Like the worship leader called it, and I had to summon her over.
Yeah.
And I said,
I do not know this.
I don't know this song.
You know, when I first started there, that happened once or twice because it was like I was like I'd listen to it like once or twice. Yeah, this is easy, and then like I get there and I'm like, if you give me like 40 seconds to do it, I'm like, yeah. So that actually happened a couple of times with me too.
Yeah, and so except I didn't even see this song on the list. So
man.
So like,
and then they called it out during, like, there was no run through before. There was no walkthrough before. Like, this is what we're doing.
Church is going. This is time for the selection. Hey, song B. I didn't even know song B was on the list.
The thing? I was like, wait, wow.
And so the worship leader, she was very professional. She, praise the Lord, everybody, and got us through. And she called out a different song that I didn't know.
That she knew that you knew.
Right.
Okay.
And so thankfully, was able to get through that. That I feel like there's a ton more that I'm forgetting though beyond that, where I just bombed completely. I don't know.
Those are rough though, but and then you said some rough ones in the midst of the episode, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
Absolutely.
All right. Top three keyboard players that you know, and top three like national recording artists or legend keyboard players.
Oh gosh. That's very hard. Ones that I know, I'd say I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Cornelius Spencer.
Oh yeah.
Met him in high school. And so I've seen him grow and continue. Let's see here. I guess Tyrone. I met him.
Tyrone Jackson?
Yes.
He will be on in 2 episodes.
I met him at a Chandra Corelli gig in Atlanta, and and this was before you had gone to him.
Yeah.
And so when I found out, I was like, dude, you need to sponge everything that he has to throw your way. Let's see here. Another one that I'm impressed with. Let's see. I'm gonna say, gosh, that's hard.
If you want to go to 4 or 5, you can. To not leave anybody out.
Okay. Well, most of the musicians that I know are church musicians.
Which is,
And I, just me personally, I believe, we're like the short order cooks of music. Like we can do it all. Even though we may not, be on the bigger stages and everything. So I really feel like church musicians, are very undervalued and underestimated. So, gosh, you know what? I'll go with Davion Battle,
Oh, okay.
because when he came on the scene, I met him in college, and when he came on the scene, nobody knew who he was. Nobody knew anything about him. But man, talk about somebody that can pick up anything and has perfect pitch and can play the mess out of some jazz. Yeah, I'm glad to know him and still be able to get in contact with him. So, yeah, I'll go with Davion Battle as my third.
Cool. So that's the top three you know. So now
Yes.
top three like national.
I guess I got to go with Corey Henry. I'm trying to think though. Where have I? There was somebody. I'm going to go with Richard Smallwood.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good pick.
Another gospel. But shoot.
But on piano.
On piano.
Oh yeah.
He can do anything. This dude play Beethoven in front of you. Let's see here. I really there was a lady that somebody sent me, an Asian artist that I had never heard of before.
Hiromi? Kyoko Matsui? Maybe one of them?
I want to say it was like.
Or is it a
Wayne,
guy? No, you said it was a.
No, this.
Is a guy or a girl?
This a woman.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find out who this lady is, because Cornelia is the one who texted me it. And so hopefully I still have it somewhere. Okay, I hope this doesn't play. But if it does, just edit it out. Yuja Wang. Yeah, this lady, and I'm partial to classical pianists. Again, I feel like they don't get as much love as they probably should. But this lady, she combines both classical stuff. There's a clip that I'll send you where she's doing Turkish March, but she does a variation on it, man.
And it's just
just
one of those.
Like, dude. So yeah, I'll go with Yuja Wang, Richard Smallwood, Corey.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Supergroup. You have unlimited budget, unlimited availability. That means you can put together a rhythm section. It's kind of gone off the rails. People have started putting aux players in multiple. So you can kind of do what you want, but rhythm section, horn section if you want to, and lead vocalist. Unlimited budget, unlimited availability. They just have to be alive.
Okay, just have to be alive, and this is like a 4-piece, 5-piece.
This be however many pieces you want to.
Okay.
This is your event. You put together the band. Whatever you decide to do.
Oh,
if you want to be there on aux in the back, you can.
Oh, no.
If you don't want to play,
no.
But who's in the band? Who's doing it? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to be on front row, in the audience. So, yeah, I'm gonna do. Yeah. I'm at Richard Smallwood.
Did he not pass away?
He did. I didn't know.
I want to say, I don't want to put that on him.
I don't know. Anyway, I can choose somebody else. That's okay. But if he,
let's choose someone else. I really am not sure. Look it up real quick. I don't want to
say. I would feel like I would know. Like somebody would have said something. If he had. But
who is something about the name? I know he passed.
Oh no, that's not him.
Yeah, I know that's not him. But I thought
he's still going. He's 74.
Yeah, he is. Richard Smallwood. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, he's yeah. So yeah, I'll put him on mains and lead or MD. Yeah, put him on main, MD it. because I love how he incorporates, orchestral things in his gospel pieces. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put Corey on organ just cause. And I don't really know. Oh man, I do not know this bass player's name to save my life.
Who does he play with, or she?
I don't know. I don't even know if it's a male or if it's a man or a woman. To be honest, I just remember the song that I heard this bass player on, and I was blown up because he ran all over this thing. It was Valencia Lacey and her group, and the song was Big. That's the name of the song.
Okay, yeah.
Big.
So whoever played bass on that song.
Whoever played bass on that song.
That person.
That guy.
So this is Richard Smallwood, Corey Henry, whoever played bass on Valencia's song. Who's on drums?
Gracious. See, I don't know that many drummers. Like nationally known.
It can be somebody you know though.
But yeah, so because I know a lot of the guys that I know, or at least I feel like the guys that I know can go toe to toe with anybody. So I'm gonna give Kenneth Sanders some love.
Oh yeah.
Because that's my go-to for any gig that I'm gonna have on drums. And that's I feel bad for some of the other drummers that I know. But yeah, Ken's gonna get the job done, and I barely have to look at him in order for him to know where I'm going or what needs to be done. So, and because he's a local guy, he doesn't give a whole lot. He doesn't get a whole lot of exposure, at least not in Middle Georgia anyway. But so yeah, I put Kenneth Sanders on Kit, and let's see here. Yeah, I think I don't really know that many guitarists either.
Hey, well, you've already got your chorus. So who's the front person? If you're not going to do guitar or horns, because you don't want to, but you got the core group. So who's the lead vocalist?
So
who's the people that who are they accompanying?
Oh man, that's gonna be real tough, Zach.
I thought as an avid fan of the show, I thought you would be. I really thought you might have been prepared for this question since you like.
Yeah, so I had in my mind, but so I was thinking like a gospelish like show, and I want to do. You know what? I'm just gonna say Oleta Adams.
Okay.
Just because I could go with some I guess more well-known names. I know everybody's kind of chosen Layla Hathaway. I know a lot of people might go with Donnie McClurkin or Yolanda Adams, and those powerhouses, Tasha Cobbs and such. But I kind of like to give honor to the people that don't get as much. And I fell in love with the song that she did. Holy, holy, God mighty, worthy is the Lamb. That's the name of the song. Worthy is the Lamb. I kind of fell in love with that when I was younger, and I loved how she did that and the arrangement on it as well. And I like her voice, particularly. I don't know where she is, or anything like that, but I feel like she could probably do whatever is done justice.
Gotcha. Would you ever do your own project?
If I had the budget for it, see, that's the thing. I'm not much of a writer. My wife more so is. But yeah, if I have the material and I have the budget for it, yeah, why not?
But it's not like an immediate desire to I want to put out a record one day.
No, not really. At least not at this phase of life where I am right now. I still have young children to raise, and and that sort of thing, and a house provide for. But maybe some years down the road when things start to ease up, then yeah, maybe I'll seek that out. But at the moment, no, it's not something that's at the forefront or something that I really aspire to do.
Gotcha. Hey, fair enough. All right, last question. What do you want to leave with the people?
Some cliche just came in my head. Let's see. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to push yourself and to for lack of a better word, make a fool of yourself is what I would encourage people. I think too many times our fear of other people's reactions to what we do hinder us from doing ultimately what we probably need to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would encourage anybody listening to, hey, if you fall flat on your face, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a living testimony. It's happened hundreds of times, but keep on going and dust yourself off. Count it as a learning experience, and as my dad would say, give it that old. He would always, whatever grade I was in.
Whatever grade.
So he said this, just about every day he dropped me off at school. Give it that old first grade try, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Give it that old second grade. And when I got in college, give it that old college try.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's stuck with me. I even tell my kids that too. Just try your best. If it doesn't go as well as you would like it to, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's redemption. There's a point. There's a lesson in it, and it's something that I think is necessary in your growth. And yeah, that's what I would encourage.
All right, I feel you.
I've got a message behind me that says mistakes are just proof that you are trying. And I have it. I found it at a store, and once I saw it, it resonated with me. And so, yeah, keep trying, keep going. Don't worry about the mistakes. Don't worry about failures, quote unquote. Quote. Count it all joy. Count it all a learning experience. We've all been there. Got you.
I feel you. Socials, you're not really on social media like that though. That's always my question. But you don't be. But it's on the script.
Yes.
So I got it.
So yeah, let's see. I'm on Facebook, Stephen Thornton. I guess it's facebook.com/Stephen.T.Thornton. If anybody wants to look me up, there. I do have Instagram. I think it's _Stephen Thornton _. I do have Twitter as well, which I am hardly ever on, but it's clumsily Stephen. That's clumsily the
goodness gracious
the word. So yeah, my wife's stage name is Gracefully Gia.
I see what you did. I see what you did.
And said clumsily Stephen.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
Now it kind of makes sense now, because I was like, what? Why'd you do that?
Yeah, it was a play on her name just to be silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the only platforms that I really have installed on my phone. If anybody cares to get in contact with me that way.
Gotcha. All right. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being on. Appreciate you in general.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, without these teachers, the version of Zach Wilson that is here and now would not be the version. We didn't even talk about how you taught like your actual role in teaching me.
Oh yeah.
But it was but no, like Steven. So Mr. Mitchell was the first, taught me like where to put my hands on the piano. And then Steven came in, and it was like when it was time to learn like a super major classical piece, he would take on that role, and he would specifically just teach me that.
Right.
And we would break it down, measure by measure, note by note, going 30 BPM. we ain't going nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And you
Take it
do
slow.
those 4 measures over and over.
Yes.
But anyways, that discipline, of course, helped me through college, and just like and even when we were doing the other gigs, helped me to also watching you be an MD. That helped me as well too.
Wow.
But
I didn't know that.
Oh no, absolutely, because I'm watching how you're communicating with everybody and in that sort of situation, and but yeah, the version of me without Mark Mitchell, Stephen Thornton, Jay Adams, who's on the next episode, Tyrone Jackson, who's on the episode after that. If I didn't have those 4, the version of Zach Wilson would be different. So
I just played my part.
Hey man, just a vessel, just a humble servant. But anyways, I appreciate you. Thank you for being on. This has been the Major Keyz podcast. Keep pressing on. See y'all next time.